What would you do if this happened to you? A woman was moving into her new apartment, and as she was setting down her bags, a large painting on the wall caught her eye. It was of a man's face shrouded in shadows. His expression was hard to make out, but there was something unsettling about it. She shrugged it off, thinking maybe it was just a part of the decor, and went to bed. The next morning, as she woke up, she glanced at the wall where the painting had been, only to see that there was no painting but a large window. A chill crept down her spine as she came to the realization that what she was looking at last night was not a painting, but a creepy man watching her. What would you do if this happened to you? A young girl was studying inside her room when she heard her mom calling her from downstairs. As she was headed downstairs, she heard a voice coming from the closet, and she turned to see her mom inside the closet staring blankly at her. Her mom then said, "Don't go downstairs." I heard it too, leaving the girl confused as to who her real mom was. What would you do if this happened to you? A family was staying inside their home during a very stormy night. The parents were worried because their eldest son, who had gone to the market earlier that afternoon, had not yet returned and he wasn't picking up any of their phone calls. Hours passed and suddenly there was a loud knock at the door. The mother opened the door to find her son standing there, his clothes extremely soaked and wet. He didn't say anything but just walked to his room and locked the door behind him. The next morning, the parents were having breakfast when the phone rang and the mother picked it up. On the other end of the line was the voice of a police officer who said, "I'm sorry to inform you, your son died last night after falling into a flooded tunnel." The mother was extremely horrified because if their son was dead, then who the hell was asleep in his room? Do you know someone who usually writes with their left hand? A girl named Sarah was taking a test when she suddenly glanced over at her best friend and noticed that she was using her left hand to write. This immediately sent Sarah into panic mode as she had never seen her best friend writing with her left hand, and as far as she knew, her best friend wasn't left-handed. From that moment on, Sarah began avoiding her best friend, no longer returning her texts or even hanging out of the school. Confused, her best friend confronted her, asking why she had been behaving weird. Sarah finally came clean and told her best friend that she had been seeing her using her left hand. For a moment, the best friend just stared at her silent and expressionless. Then slowly her face twisted, and her eyes darkened as she morphed into a monstrous creature. Everyone in the school hall turned to look at Sarah as they all shape-shifted into monstrous creatures. Sarah was never seen again. The story is actually based on the theory that left-handed people don't exist. If you ever spot a left-handed person, then you've encountered a different breed of beings who come from the mirror dimension.